world's great novels. The National Broadcasting Company presents the first episode in its three-part dramatization of Charles Dickens' thrilling story of the French Revolution, A Tale of Two Cities, another in its series of books that live the world's great novels.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of folly. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of doubt. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going straight the other way. It was the year of our Lord, 1775. And in November of this year of 1775, the surface of life went on as usual. So, as usual, the heavy mail coach with its steaming horses made its slow way from London to discharge a single passenger, an orderly, methodical man of business, one Jarvis Lorry, from Tellson's Bank of London and Paris, at the Royal George Hotel at Dover.
Before I go to my room, let me say there will be a young lady asking for me. Mr. Jarvis Lorry. When she comes...
The young lady is here, sir.
Already? Well, bring her to me at once.
Yes, sir. I will request her to come, sir.
Now then, Lorry, business. Remember, it is business. But 18 years. Buried alive for 18 years. How am I to tell her?
Here is the young lady, sir.
You may go.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Manette, I kiss your hand.
Pray sit down, sir.
And you, miss.
I received the letter from the bank. It is most kind of you to protect me on my journey to Paris.
A pleasure, Miss Manette.
Can you explain? The letter said something had been discovered about my poor father's property.
It's property, yes.
He has been dead so long. What is it about?
It's rather difficult to begin.
Mr. Lorry, are you quite a stranger to me?
Am I not?
I don't know. I fancied... But go on.
Well, then, Miss Manette, I should like to tell you the story of one of our customers.
A story?
Yes, about a doctor. He was from Beauvais.
My father was a doctor from Beauvais.
This doctor, I knew him in Paris. He was well known there. He dealt with my bank, with Tellson's.
When was this?
Well, let me see now. 20 years ago. The doctor had a wife, an English lady.
Mr. Lorry, I know you now. It was you who brought me to England after my mother died. I'm sure it was you.
Yes. It was I, Miss Manette.
Then this must be my father's story.
Until now, they are the same. But now, miss, if your father had not died, if he had been spirited away, put in prison...
What are you telling me?
If this man had had a child...
A daughter?
A daughter. And if the doctor's wife had determined to spare her child any pain, had raised her in the belief that her father was dead...
The truth. I pray you, sir, the truth.
This is what your mother did. She tried to find him. She tried endlessly until her heart broke. But she left you to grow up beautiful and happy. She spared you the pain.
And now, the letter, what does it mean?
Miss Manette, your father has been found.
Found? My father is alive?
He is alive. That is why we are going to Paris.
Alive? My father.
Please, Miss Manette.
I have been free. I have been happy. And he...
You will make him happy now. You will bring him back to life and love and comfort.
I have been free all these years. Why did he not haunt me? His ghost. Mr. Lorry, I am going to see his ghost. It will be his ghost, not my father.
Paris, where reign a king with a large jaw and a queen with a fair face. Paris, where one of the towers of Notre Dame looks down on the Grand Hotel of a Monseigneur, the preparation of whose morning chocolate requires the aid of 4 strong men, in addition to the cook. And where the other tower of Notre Dame looks toward the quarter of Saint Antoine, in the streets of which the spilling of a barrel of wine is enough to bring the human rats out of every corner. Saint Antoine, like all of France, has its own Monseigneurs: cold, dirt, sickness, and want. All of them nobles of great power who abide fittingly in the narrow, stinking streets. On the corner of one stands a wine shop, whose proprietor holds nightly converse with his friends, while his wife, like all the women of Saint Antoine, sits with her knitting, keeping her fingers busy, that the stomach may be less sensible of its want of work, until the appearance of 2 newcomers causes the shop to empty quickly, and the proprietor shortly to leave also with his visitors.
Here are the stairs. Begin slowly. The climb is long.
Is the doctor alone, Monsieur Defarge?
Alone. God help him, who should be with him?
Is he always alone?
Of necessity, Monsieur Laurie. When they brought him to me, they warned me at my peril to be discreet.
We are most grateful to you.
I was his servant through many years, mademoiselle. If I can serve him still...
Is he greatly changed?
Changed? In the name of the devil, what do you expect?
Perhaps he will have to stay a while until he gets stronger.
He cannot. He must be gotten out of France at once. His life depends on it.
Is it much farther?
Only at the top of this flight.
You have a key, monsieur. The door is locked.
Aye, it is necessary.
But why?
Why? Because he was locked up so long he'd tear himself to pieces if his door were left open.
Is it possible?
Many things are possible. Many things are done every day under that sky there. Long live the devil.
Is it you, Jacques?
It is I, Jacques.
Who are these 3 men?
Leave us, good boys. We have business here.
Hey, Jacques. We have seen him. They were looking through the keyhole. You make a show of Monsieur Manette.
To a chosen few.
Is that well?
I think it is well. I show him to men of my name. Men named Jacques. The sight will do them good. Wait a moment.
Why do you do that?
This, too, is necessary. You in there.
Why does he shout at him?
Hush, my dear. Come in. Come in.
I am afraid.
Come forward, mademoiselle. There is nothing to fear.
What is he doing? What is that work?
He's making shoes. All day from dawn to black dark, he's making shoes. You are still at work, I see.
Yes. I am working.
Are you going to finish that pair of shoes today?
I suppose so.
Oh, my father.
Hush, my dear.
You have a visitor.
What did you say?
Show monsieur the shoe you are working at.
May I take it?
Tell monsieur what kind of shoe it is.
It is a lady's shoe. It is a lady's walking shoe.
Tell monsieur your name.
Give me my shoe.
What is your name, shoemaker?
My name?
Yes. Tell me your name.
My name. Number 105 North Tower. 105 North Tower. 105 North Tower.
Thus is a man buried alive for 18 years, dug out and recalled to life. Slowly, with loving tenderness in the years that follow, did Lucie nurse her father back to health and refire the full vigor of his prison-dimmed mind. At the end of 5 years came a day that he will afterwards remember. A certain day in a courtroom.
Dr. Manette, you've heard the testimony against the prisoner, Charles Darnay.
I have.
You have heard Mr. John Barstead, the witness for the Crown, testify that the said Charles Darnay is a traitor to England by reason of certain documents he has delivered into the hands of the French government.
Yes.
You have heard your daughter, Miss Lucie Manette, testify that 5 years ago she met the accused aboard a packet ship which was bringing you from France.
My daughter testified most honorably, as her tears must have proved. It is not our wish to oust Mr. Darnay.
The court is not concerned with the manner of her testimony. Will you look upon the prisoner? You ever seen him before?
Once, he called at my lodgings in London 3 years ago.
You cannot identify him as your fellow passenger aboard the packet?
I cannot, sir.
Is there any special reason why you cannot?
There is.
You underwent a long imprisonment without trial in your native France, did you not, Dr. Manette?
A very long imprisonment.
On the occasion of your being aboard the packet 5 years ago, you were newly released?
They tell me so.
You do not remember?
I remember nothing. from sometime during my confinement until I found myself living in London with my dear daughter. My mind is a blank.
That will do, Dr. Manette. I wish to recall the Crown's estimable witness, Mr. John Barsad.
John Barsad? John Barsad? Yes, sir?
Mr. Barsad, you have declared that the servant of the prisoner discovered these traitorous documents in the prisoner's possession 5 years ago and reported them to you.
He did his duty like I did mine.
You are a courageous man. Now, you also declare that you saw the prisoner, Charles Darnay, take the mail coach for Dover shortly thereafter.
I did.
I only wish to impress your testimony on the court. Thank you, Mr. Barsad. You may stand down.
Hold on a minute there.
Huh? Who is this man?
I am an associate of the counsel for the defense. Sidney Carton, at your service. I wish to ask the witness if he is quite sure it was the prisoner he saw.
Of course I'm sure. It was him and no other.
Did you ever see anybody very like the prisoner?
Not to be mistaken.
I will take off my wig. Look well at me and then at the prisoner. Could you not mistake me for him?
Mr. Carton, you are trying to confuse my witness.
He's confused already. I ask the court if what happens once may not happen twice. I ask the court if the witness would have been so confident had he seen me before. I ask the court whether it may not now try Sidney Carton for treason as sensibly as Charles Darnay.
Well, we have brought you off with honor, Mr. Darnay, in spite of that lying Barsad.
I am most grateful, Mr. Lorry. As for you, Monsieur Carton, I owe you my life.
A great debt to owe for a small accident.
Can you forgive me, Mr. Darnay?
Indeed, Miss Manette, I am sure your testimony did me more good than harm.
Well, we must not stand here in the night fog. As a physician, will you not order us to our homes, Dr. Manette?
What did you say?
Mr. Lorry thinks we should go home, Father.
You look at me very strangely, Doctor. Is anything wrong?
No, nothing, Mr. Darnay. I thought for a moment that I knew your face, but it is nothing.
Come away, Father.
Yes, my dear. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, Carton. Mr. Darnay, once again, my congratulations.
Must be a strange night to you, Mr. Darnay, standing alone here in the street with your double.
I hardly seem to belong to this world at all.
I don't wonder. It's not so long since you were on your way to another. You sound faint.
I think I am.
Then why don't you dine? My arm, my friend. I'll show you to the best bottle of wine in Fleet Street. Are you back in the world yet, Mr. Darnay?
I think so.
As for me, I only want to forget I belong to it. There's no good in it for me except this wine. Here, let me pour for you.
Thank you.
Call a health, Mr. Darnay. Give your toast.
What toast?
Why, it's on the tip of your tongue. I'll swear it is.
Miss Manette, then.
Miss Manette, then. That's a fair young lady to be pitied by and have weep for you. Worth risking your life for, eh?
You remind me, I have not thanked you enough for giving me back my life.
I want no thanks. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Darnay.
Willingly?
Do you think I like you particularly?
You act as if you do, but I don't think you do.
And I don't think I do. I'm beginning to respect your understanding.
Nevertheless, I hope I may call the reckoning and part kindly with you.
You may. And if you call the whole reckoning, order me another pint of this wine.
I will.
A last word, Mr. Darnay. You think I'm drunk?
I think you have been drinking.
You know I've been drinking.
I know it then.
Then you shall know why. I'm a disappointed grudge, sir. A great liar gone wrong. The jackal at the lion's feast. I care for no man, and no man cares for me.
You might have used your talents better.
Maybe so, Mr. Darnay. But don't think too much of your own sober face. You don't know what it may come to.
I thank you for the advice, Monsieur Carton. Good night.
Good night. More wine there. Good night, sober man. Do I like you? Confound you, Carton. Why should you like a man who resembles you? Much there is in you to like. Like a man who shows you what might have been. Change places with him, and you'd have been looked at by those blue eyes as he was. Have it out in plain words, Carton. You hate the fellow.
It's like living out in the country, this house. Is it not, Mr. Darnay?
So, the magical corner of London, Mr. Loy. The more magical because the good doctor and Miss Manette live here.
I find it so, too.
They should return soon.
Have you seen the whole house?
Yes. Mr. Lorry, perhaps you can give me the answer to a question.
I would try.
In the doctor's bedroom, I have seen a shoemaker's bench and a tray of tools. Why does he keep them there?
I wonder, too. Lucie tells me that she hears him sometimes in the night, walking up and down like a man in a cell. But he never speaks.
This looks like serious business for such a quiet day.
Oh, come in, Mr. Carton.
I am in.
Carton?
You are a mirror that sticks like a shadow, Mr. Darnay. I do not see a man all my life. Then, during 4 months, I see no one else.
I think I hear Miss Manette and the doctor.
They may be quite far off still. This corner picks up all the echoes from 3 streets around.
I've noticed it, too. Sometimes there seem to be 1,000 footsteps here, and no one comes.
They are here, nonetheless.
Lucie, I was sure we would have
Good night, Mr. Carton.
Lucie?
My dear
Doctor?
friend,
Gentlemen.
sit down. We shall have tea at once.
Ah, you've come home in good time, Doctor. We shall have a storm, I think. No storms come into this house, Mr. Lorry. My Lucie keeps them out.
Where have you been walking?
We have been out looking at some of the old buildings along Temple Bar.
Here is the storm we were promised.
Yes, in big draughts. It comes slowly.
It comes surely.
The people are hurrying home in every street.
A multitude of footsteps and not a soul to be seen.
A multitude and yet a solitude.
Sometimes I have sat here and listened and thought those footsteps were all the people who are coming into our lives by and by.
There is a great crowd coming, if that is so.
Are they coming to all of us, or only to you?
It's only a fancy, Mr. Darnay, but I have thought into my life and my father's.
I take them into mine.
Have a care, Mr. Carton. Speak not so warmly of the mob.
I accept them. I ask no questions. It is a great crowd, and I see them by the lightning. And I hear them. Come one, come all. Come fierce, and come furious.
The footsteps come, fierce and furious. And in the quarter of Saint Antoine, they herald another visitor, one who wants no part of a mob. Saint Antoine should be honored, but the honor is lost upon it. It runs away and pulls its children, when it can, from under the visitors' chariot wheels.
What's that?
What is the matter? Why do we stop?
An accident, Monseigneur. The coachman has got down.
Well, get him up again. What has gone wrong out there?
Oh, no, Monsieur le Marquis. It is a child. The horse trod upon it.
That man, why does he make that abominable noise? Is it his child?
Excuse me, Monsieur le Marquis. It is a pity, yes.
My child. Mon pauvre enfant, monsieur. still. He's dead.
It is extraordinary to me that you people cannot take care of yourselves and your children. One or the other of you is forever in the way. How do I know what you have done to my horses? There is a gold piece. Enough of this noise.
He's dead.
Be a brave man, my friend. It is better so. He has died in a moment without pain. He could not have lived an hour as happily.
Ah, you are a philosopher, you there. How do they call you?
They call me Defarge.
Of what trade?
Monsieur le Marquis, vendor of wine.
Ah, there is gold for you too, vendor of wine. Pick it up and spend it as you will. The horses there, are they all right?
Oui, monseigneur.
Drive on.
There is your money, dog.
Hold. Hold the horses. Who threw that coin? Where is that man? You there, woman. You with the knitting. You stood near him. Ah, you dogs. I would ride over every one of you and exterminate you from the earth. Drive on there. To the chateau. My nephew, Monsieur Charles. Is he arrived from England?
He is within, Monsieur le Marquis.
Good evening, Charles. Or shall I say Monsieur Darnay? That is your name now, eh?
Good evening, sir.
I would have been here to receive you. There was an inconvenience in the village.
Not a great one, I trust.
Not as great as I'm sure you do trust, my dear nephew. As we drew up to the posting house gate, I noticed the people staring at my coach. There was one, a mender of roads. He told a strange tale of a man who had been clinging to a chain beneath the coach and who dropped off at the top of the hill and disappeared.
Clinging to a chain?
It is likely the road mender invented the tale to get gold. These lying dogs.
You will not search for the man then?
To what purpose? You have been a long time coming, Charles.
But I am back now for my old purpose, though it may carry me to death.
Oh, that is not necessary, Charles. Not to death.
But you would not pull me back from the brink. I am sure your diplomacy will stop at no means to prevent me from attaining my purpose.
Please recall that I told you so long ago.
I recall it.
Oh, thank you. What was that?
Eh? Where?
Outside the blinds. Open them.
I see nothing.
Well, then.
You were thinking of the man under the coach?
I was thinking of nothing. You were saying...
I was saying that it is a good thing for me that you have no longer the king's ear and could not have me thrown into prison.
It is not a good thing, Charles. These gentle aids to the honor of families are too difficult to obtain now. It used not to be so. Once we could assert our station properly.
We've asserted our station enough to make Evremont the most detested name in France.
Ah, let us hope it is so. It is a compliment.
We have done wrong, sir. We are reaping the fruits of wrong.
We?
Our family. Our honorable family. We've injured every human creature who stood between us and our pleasure.
And why not, my friend? In your father's time...
It is your time, too. Nothing can separate you.
Ah, death has done that.
And has left me trying to undo some of the wrongs of the day.
You dishonor the dead.
My father, not my mother. With her last word, she begged me to have mercy, to redress. And now I spend my life seeking power and assistance in vain.
You will seek them forever in vain if you seek them from me. You would do better to be rational and accept your destiny. But you are lost, I see, Monsieur Charles.
This property and France are lost to me. I renounce them.
This property is not yours to renounce. Not yet.
But when it is, I shall abandon it. It is a wilderness of misery and ruin. There is a curse on this land.
Ah, you prefer England, for example?
Yes, England. where I bring no disgrace to the family, nor it to me.
England is very attractive to you, seeing how badly you have prospered there.
I can thank you for my prospering there. I know who paid Bastille to accuse me. But England is my refuge.
And the refuge of many. You know another Frenchman who has found refuge there? A doctor?
Yes?
With a daughter?
Yes?
Yes. So commences the new philosophy. Oh, you must be fatigued, Monsieur Darnay. I will have your chamber lighted. Good repose.
Night and the quiet are upon everything. Upon the Marquis, within the gauze curtains that enfold his bed. Upon the carved stone faces that stare from under the eaves of the chateau. Upon the fountain dropping unseen and unheard. Upon the people of the village, asleep and dreaming of ease and banquets. Upon Saint Antoine far away. Upon all France. And when the night has passed and the routine of life is astir again, all things are as usual. All things? Then what news is it that the birds carry over the fields, so that the mender of roads on the sultry morning runs down the hill knee-high in dust? What news that the tocsin rings above the carved stone faces that show no surprise?
Monsieur Charles! Monsieur Charles!
Yes? What is it, man? Speak.
Quickly, Monsieur Charles. Come quickly. Monseigneur! Monseigneur!
Great heavens.
I found him so, monsieur.
A knife through his heart. So, uncle, stone faces have a new companion. What is that paper on the knife? Drive him fast to his tomb. This from a man called Jacques.
The footsteps have come into the chamber. The footsteps carrying the knife into lives as yet untouched by its bite.
A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens is one of the world's great novels brought to you each week by the National Broadcasting Company. Listen next week to the second episode of A Tale of Two Cities. And don't forget that your local public library can be the source of great entertainment. To enhance your enjoyment of this series, we recommend the Handbook of the World's Great Novels, which you may obtain by sending 25 cents to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. That's Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27. A Tale of Two Cities is adapted for radio by Clarice A. Ross. The music was composed by Dick Shores, and the orchestra was directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Geraldine Kay is featured as Lucie, and Jonathan Hole as Sidney Carton. The narration is by Sherman Marks. Charles Darnay is played by Ken Nordine, Dr. Manette by Maurice Copeland, Jarvis Laurie by Jess Pugh, Defarge by Ken Griffin, the Marquis by Sid Breeze, the lawyer by George Kluge, and Barsad by Ted Liss. This is John Conrad. This program comes to you from Chicago and is a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
The world's great novel. The National Broadcasting Company presents the second episode in its four-part dramatization of Charles Dickens' powerful story of innocent lives, pitted against the forces of fury. A Tale of Two Cities. Another in its series of books that live, the world's great novel.
After 18 years' imprisonment in the Bastille, Dr. Alexander Manette has been rescued and taken to England by his daughter Lucie and their old friend Jarvis Lorry. The charm of their quiet life is shared by Charles Darnay, a young Frenchman, and Sidney Carton, a brilliant but dissipated lawyer. Between Darnay and Carton there is an uncanny physical resemblance. But meanwhile, across the channel, the fury of a chained people gathers strength, and the first to bow to it is the Marquis Saint Antoine, of the family of which Charles Darnay is a member, but which he has renounced forever. A year has passed since the mysterious death by stabbing of the Marquis and the return of Charles Darnay from France. A year in which he has prospered and been happy, keeping ever in his heart and before his eyes the image of one dear face. But of his love for Lucie Manette, he has spoken no word until, on a summer day, he seeks out her father in the quiet house in Soho.
I'm glad to see you, Mr. Darnay.
Thank you. Miss Manette is well?
Quite well. She is out shopping with our good Miss Broad.
I'm glad she's away, Doctor. I wanted to talk to you.
About Lucie?
I've known your daughter for a year and a half, sir. I've held her in the deepest respect.
It is painful for me to hear her spoken of in that tone.
The tone of great love and admiration, Doctor.
I believe you.
Shall I go on, sir?
Yes, go on.
You know what I'm going to say. If there is any love in the world, I love your daughter.
Have you spoken to Lucie?
No.
Nor written?
Never. I know what she means to you. I've waited as long as I could.
I thank you for that.
I know that to bring my love between you is almost a sacrilege, but I do love her.
I know.
Do not think I have any idea of taking her away from you. I, too, am an exile from France, driven from home by my despair at the oppression of the people. I only ask to share your life and your name.
You speak well, Charles Darnay. Tell me, do you think my daughter loves you?
I do not know.
Nor do I. And you want to go to her now with my knowledge?
That, and one promise.
What promise do you want?
Only that you will make her understand what I've told you. That I never want to come between you.
I believe you. I give the promise.
Thank you, sir. There's one thing more. I think you ought to know my name.
Your name?
I've seen you looking at me strangely sometimes, as though you knew who I really was. I want you to know now.
Stop. Do not say any more.
But I want no secrets from you.
No more, I say.
Very well, sir. But there is a reason why I'm in England. You should know it.
And there is a reason why I'm in England. I do not want to hear yours. If you marry Lucie, you shall tell me after the marriage, not before, Charles Darnay. I warn you, not before.
Thus, one heart which dares to hope, and so goes properly about its delicate mission. But there is another which does not hope and can afford to be more direct.
I fear you are not well, Mr. Carton. May I get you some tea?
The life I lead, Miss Manette, is not conducive to good health.
Then why not change that life?
It's too late for that. I shall never be any better than I am.
Is there nothing I can do to help you?
Nothing. Forgive me, Miss Manette. But will you hear what I want to say to you?
If it will do you any good, dear friend, it would make me very glad.
God bless you for your sweet compassion. Don't be afraid to hear me. I'm like one who died too young. All my life might have been.
Oh, no, Mr. Carton. I'm sure the best part of it might still be.
If it had been possible, Miss Manette, that you could have returned the love of a drunken, wasted scoundrel.
Please, you do yourself wrong.
I know you can have no tenderness for me. I'm thankful that you don't love me. I could only have pulled you down to disgrace with me. I'm thankful that it cannot be. Can you understand that?
If you forgive me, but if you love me, Have I no power for good with you at all?
None whatever. Let me say what I've come to say. You would have reclaimed me if anything could. You were the last beautiful dream of my misdirected soul.
And is there nothing left of that dream?
Nothing. I can live the rest of my poor life remembering that the last outpouring of my heart was to you, and that you could still find pity for me. God bless you. I'm not worth those tears. But will you believe one more thing?
I will, Mr. Carton.
Hold this in your mind sometime. Remember it for whatever it is worth. I shall never refer to this again. But I want you to know that for you, for anyone dear to you, I would do anything. Remember it, Miss Manette. There is a man who would give his life to keep a life you love beside you.
Thus life in Soho continues with some few differences. And in Paris, in the wine shop of Monsieur Defarge, quarter Saint Antoine, matters also are not quite as usual. For 3 days there has been early drinking and late drinking, and the wine, which is thin at the best of times, must now be sour as well. For the faces of the drinkers are dark over the measure, but through it all, the proprietor's good wife, Madame Defarge, presides with her knitting, implacable. Not so her husband, who, as the shop empties late on a hot night, shakes his head as though to clear away the foulness which is over all.
The air is heavy tonight.
21, 22, 23. Someone did not pay. Oh, you are fatigued. They are only the usual orders.
I am tired.
You were upstairs a long time with the tree named Jacques. How goes the matter?
Long live the devil. You saw him who came in this morning?
The mender of roads who lives near the Chateau de Fremont?
Oui.
Well?
He came to tell us about Gaspard.
He knew Gaspard?
We saw him a year ago, when Gaspard's child was killed under Evremont's carriage, and he avenged it with a knife in Evremont's heart.
But Gaspard's real name was not known. He was just called Jacques, as always.
Oui, but the police knew his description, so they looked for a man, not a name. They got him.
For a whole year. The pity of it.
Spare him your pity. He has no more use for it.
Dead?
And lucky. They only hung.
How say you then?
I say to be registered for destruction. The chateau and all be ready.
It shall be done.
Our comrades had some doubts about your manner of keeping the register of those who are doomed in your knitting. I told them not to fear.
My friends, they are my own stitches, my own symbols. They are plain as the sun to me and to no one else. They shall remain so.
You have done well. You at least.
Well, you are depressed. There is no reason.
But, my dear...
But, my dear, you are faint of heart tonight, my dear.
Well, it is a long time.
And when has it not been a long time? It is a rule.
It does not take long to strike a man with lightning.
But how long does it take to make the lightning? Tell me.
A long time, I suppose.
Aye. But when it is ready, it strikes. And everything goes to pieces before it. Meantime, it is preparing. That is your consolation.
I would I were as sure as you are.
I tell thee it is on the road and coming. Look at the lives we know. Look at their faces. Ah, bah, can such things last? It will come. You saw Jacques of the police today. What did he tell thee?
There are more spies commissioned for Saint Antoine.
Who are they?
Only one that he knows for sure.
Well, we shall register him. His name?
Barsad. He is English.
So much the better. Christian name?
John.
Jean Barsad.
Oui.
Good. His appearance, is it known?
Age about 40, height 5'9", black hair, dark eyes, nose inclined to the left cheek.
better than a portrait. He shall be registered tomorrow.
We may not have to wait so long.
How say you?
Look down the street under the lamp there.
It is our man, by my soul. He's coming here. Away with you, Defarge. Leave him to me.
I'll stay near.
Hand me my knitting. There. Let him stay long enough, and I will have him down. I'll be off with you.
Have a care, Terry.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, monsieur.
A little glass of cognac, if you please, madam.
At once, monsieur.
You knit with great skill, madam.
I am accustomed to it.
Pretty pattern, too.
You think so?
Retardedly.
Here is your wine.
You have a husband, madam?
I have.
Business is bad?
Very bad. The people are so poor.
The unfortunate people. So oppressed, too, as you say.
As you say.
Of course. This business of Gaspard's execution, what a pity.
My faith, if a man must use a knife, let him pay for it.
But there's much sympathy for him in the neighborhood, is there not?
Is there?
Surely you must know that...
Good evening, monsieur.
Oh, good evening, Jacques.
You deceive yourself, monsieur. My name is not Jacques. I am Ernest Defarge.
It's all the same. Well, I was just saying to madam, they tell me there's much sympathy in Saint Antoine for poor Gaspard.
I know nothing of it. You seem to know this quartier better than I do.
I'm so interested in the poor people. By the by, Monsieur Defarge, I know your name of old.
Indeed?
You were Dr. Manette's old servant. You had charge of him when he was released, didn't you?
Why,
That is the fact, certainly.
His daughter came here and knitted for Monsieur. As he called, Laurie of Telson's Bank.
Such is the fact.
Well, I've known them in England. You hear from them now?
Not anymore. They have taken their road and we ours.
Quite so. Well, Miss Manette is to be married.
Was pretty enough to have married long ago.
Well, she is marrying now, and to a Frenchman, one Charles Darnay.
Darnay?
Well, that's not his real name. Oddly enough, he's a nephew of the very Marquis Saint Antoine for whom poor Gaspard was hung so high.
What do you say, the nephew?
It is time to close the shop. You have finished your wine, monsieur?
Assuredly. I bid you good night, madam, monsieur. I look forward to seeing you again.
You gave too much away. Why did you show surprise?
Could I help it? Can it be true? What he has said of Mademoiselle Manette.
Since he said it, it is probably false. But it may be true.
If it is.
If it is?
And if it does come, well, we live to see it triumph.
What then, my friend?
I hope for her sake, destiny will keep her husband out of France.
His destiny will take him where he is to go. That is all I know.
But is it not strange? Her father has been so dear to us. And now you are setting down her husband's name in your netting.
His and that infernal dog's who just left here. Stranger things will happen when it does come. They are both here, and they are here for their merit. That is enough. This marriage, Defarge, it is no concern of mine.
Oh, come now, Mr. Laurie. Once is enough to kiss the bride.
Not such a lovely bride as this.
Oh, you are too flattering, dear Mr. Laurie.
Nonsense. Lord bless me, weddings make a man think of all he has lost. To think there might have been a Mrs. Laurie.
Oh.
My friend, you were a bachelor in your cradle.
Well, if so, I was very unhandsomely dealt with.
Very good.
Come now, what is keeping the doctor and your husband?
Oh, they have been in father's study for half an hour. I don't know what they can be talking about. It's time for us to go.
Oh, a little good advice to young bridegrooms, most likely.
Oh, Mr. Carton.
Well, here they come at last. Our honeymoon couple will miss their ship, Doctor.
Yes. Yes, it is time.
Father, are you all right? You're sure you will be all right if I go?
Of course, my darling. Laurie is right. You must leave now. You feel delayed. It's only for a few weeks, dear.
Off with you now, or we'll all be weeping like women.
Guard our treasure well, Charles. Never fear, Mr. Laurie. Come, Lucie.
Oh, Father.
Enough, my dear. Take her, Sean. She's yours. Come, my darling.
Yes, Charles. Goodbye, Father. Goodbye, dear friend.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Lucy. Goodbye, Charles.
Well, I think our Lucie will be a very happy woman, old friend. That's a fine young man.
What did you say?
I say Charles is a fine young man. Yes, a fine man.
You look as though you could do with a drink, Doctor. Shall we three go and dine somewhere?
Oh, an excellent plan. You must excuse me. I think I'm a little tired. I'd better stay here. Some tea, then. Shall I ring for it? No, nothing. Do not trouble yourself. I go into my room and lie down. I shall be better presently. I don't like this, Mr. Carton. Have you ever seen a man so pale?
Not such a good idea of mine, that dining out. I only meant it to get his mind off of...
Off of what?
That's what I can't say. What think you?
A fellow creature's mind is too deep a mystery for me, Mr. Carton. I'm a man of business.
Listen.
That's hammering. Quickly, Carton. Already we are too late. Dr. Manette. Doctor.
What is this?
His old prison days. They are back on him. The shoemaking. Dr. Manette, look at me.
Let me be. This shoe, it should have been finished long ago.
Dear friend, you must stop this. Look at me. Do you know me?
This shoe, I must work.
But this is not your occupation. Do you know who you are? Think, my friend.
I, number 105, North Tower.
A few days of this mysterious return to suffering, and then the good doctor recovered, and the years wove happiness around the lives of the family in the corner of London, in the friendly, echoing streets, in the house where there is sunlight. The storm clouds lower slowly. The gathering of the lightning consumes 7 more years. 7 years. And then on a morning in July, Saint Antoine becomes a vast, dusky mass of scarecrows, heaving to and fro, of steel blades, muskets, and bayonets, of bloody fingers, unable to find another weapon, and setting themselves to force the very bricks from the walls. In the movement and the raging, one can perceive a center, a vortex, at a certain corner where stands a wine shop, and where Defarge labors with the strength of a man gone mad.
Chuck 3. Keep near to me. Chuck 1 and 2. Separate. Lead as many patriots as you can. Where is my wife?
Here you see me.
Where do you go?
I go with you, and my women follow. Yes, we can kill as well as men when the place is taken.
Come then, patriots and friends. We are ready. To the Bastille!
Deep ditches, double drawbridge, massive stone walls, 8 great towers, cannon, muskets, fire and smoke, blazing torches, hard work and bravery, and the terrible sound of the living sea. 4 fierce hours, and still the stone walls, the drawbridge, the great towers, and then...
Look! The white flag! The surrender!
And Defarge of the wine shop is swept over the lower drawbridge, past the stone walls, in among the fallen towers.
You there! Guard!
Have pity, citizen.
You want your miserable life?
Kill the fool!
Patience, Shock 3. You, show me the North Tower, quick.
I will faithfully. But there is no one there.
What is the meaning of 105 North Tower?
The meaning, monsieur?
Does it mean a captive or a cell? Or do you mean I shall strike you dead?
Kill him, I say!
Monsieur, it is a cell.
Show it to me and be quick, or your next breath is your last.
This is the place, 105 North Tower.
I cannot see a step into this hole.
Here you. Pass that torch along the walls so I can see them.
Oh, oui, monsieur.
What do you find?
Ah, look here, Jacques.
Ah, letters. A.M.
Alexandre Manette. It must be. We must search this place. Give me your crowbar, Jacques.
What are you going to do?
The stool and the table. I'm going to smash them to... Rip open that bed and hunt through the straw, Jacques. Hold the light higher for him, you.
Try the chimney.
I'm about to.
Not in the bed.
Now then, the hearth. Closer with the light there. I've a mind to make a chimney sweep out of you on this spot. Oh, here. Here, what's this?
Find anything?
Here, in this crevice. I'll just keep this writing. Nothing in the wood and nothing in the straw, Jacques?
Nothing.
Then set the torch to them. Quickly there.
Oui, monsieur.
Oui, monsieur. Oui, monsieur, la Bastille. You will burn. Let it burn high. And let all France burn with it.
The torch is lighted and the flame sweeps.
Here is this villain, the governor of the Bastille. What shall be done with him?
Hang him up for a lamp.
And so Saint Antoine has a new kind of lamp, a swinging sentinel to light its vengeance.
Listen, everyone. There is news.
What news, my husband?
Does everyone recall old Foulon, who told us if we were hungry, we might eat grass? He is among us.
But he is dead.
Not dead. They have found him alive. I have seen him. Shall he fear us?
And so an old sinner dies, choked by the grass he bespake so highly. Three years pass in which the flames of France climb high in their fury. And in London, in August of the year 1792, Tellson and Company's bank is a place much changed. In the 150 years of its existence, it had prided itself on its quiet, its stuffiness, its manner of doing things in the slowest possible way. But in this year, when Monseigneur, lately of the nobility of France, Monseigneur, multiplied hundreds of times, finds himself no longer comfortable at home, when he and his money are scattered far and wide, he must have a gathering place, and his headquarters in London is Tellson's Bank. Monseigneur fills the rooms of Tellson's, overflows its doors, and crowds around the shoulders of Mr. Jarvis Lorry, to his enormous inconvenience.
In my 50 years with this bank, Mr. Darnay, I've never seen such a deal of custom as this.
The French nobility have a fondness for Tellson's, Mr. Lorry. This is where their money used to be.
It quite fatigues me, all this hurry. Only half an hour left until closing, and I have so much to finish up.
About this journey of yours, Mr. Lorry, again, I must suggest...
That I am too old for it, eh?
Travel is so uncertain. Paris may not even be safe for
you. No one will interfere with an old man like me, Mr. Darnay. I know Tellson's business in Paris better than anyone. It's necessary that I go.
I wish I were going myself.
And you, a Frenchman born, wishing you were going to France at this time?
Well, I'm not going, and you are.
And I must. All of our books and papers over there are in danger. It's impossible to get anything out of Paris past the barriers. These things must be seen to.
And you really go tonight?
Within the hour.
Well, I admire your youthfulness.
Pardon, Monsieur Lorry.
Yes, monsieur. What can I do for you?
Have you found the man to whom that letter is addressed?
Not yet, monsieur.
Inform me if you do. I should be interested to see him.
I've referred it to everyone here. No one knows the gentleman.
What letter, Mr. Lorry?
I have it here on my desk. Here it is. Very urgent. To Monsieur, heretofore the Marquis Saint Antoine of France. To the care of Tellson and Company, Bankers, London.
I know the fellow.
Do you indeed, monsieur? Your pleasure, I'm sure.
Will you take the letter, Charles? You know where to deliver it?
I do.
Please explain that it came here
and we had no idea where to forward it. I will do so. You start for Paris from here? From here. I will return to see you off. Very kind of you, Charles. Monsieur, heretofore the Marquis, for my long and faithful service as steward to your family, I, Gabelle, am now in danger of my life.
So, Monsieur Lorry has found someone to deliver the letter, eh? Who is the man to whom it is addressed?
Oh, the nephew of the polished Marquis who was murdered.
No?
Happy to say I never knew the renegade.
They tell me that my crime is treason against the people, since I acted against them for you, an immigrant. I have explained to no avail that I have acted in their favor, not against them, according to your commands. They only say I have acted for an emigrant, and where is that emigrant?
And so the clever nephew abandoned his post some years ago.
Oh, infected with the new doctrines, I gather.
He opposed the Marquis, abandoned the estates, and left them to the ruffians.
Ah, most gracious monsieur, where is that immigrant? I cry in my sleep here in this prison. Where is he? And there is no answer. For the love of heaven, for the honor of your noble name, I pray you to come to my release. My fault is only that I have been true to you. Oh, Monsieur the Marquis, I pray you, be true to me.
Well, Charles, I'm ready to go.
Mr. Lorry, can't I persuade you?
No more of that, my dear boy. Give my love to Lucie and the little girl. Take precious care of them until I come back.
I'll try.
Have you delivered that letter I gave you?
I have. Will you take back an answer?
Yes, if it is not dangerous.
Not at all, though it is to a prisoner in the Abbey.
What is his name?
Gabelle.
And what is the message to the unfortunate Gabelle in prison?
Simply this. He has received the letter. He will come.
And drawn by the unseen force, Charles Darnay, unknown to anyone, left all that was dear on earth behind him and sailed away where the tides and the winds set strongly into the flames.
A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens is one of the world's great novels brought to you each week by the National Broadcasting Company. Listen next week to the third episode of A Tale of Two Cities. And remember that there is a world of information and entertainment to be found in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of this series, we recommend the Handbook of the World's Great Novels, which you may obtain by sending 25 cents to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. That's Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27. A Tale of Two Cities is adapted for radio by Clarence A. Ross. The music was composed by Dick Shores, and the orchestra was directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Geraldine Kay is featured as Lucie, and Jonathan Hole as Sidney Carton. The narration is by Sherman Marks. Charles Darnay is played by Ken Nordine, Dr. Manette by Maurice Copeland, Defarge by Ken Griffin, Madame Defarge by Renee Rodier, Jarvis Laurie by Jess Pugh, and John Barsad by Ted Litz. Others were Donald Gallagher and Bob Smith. This is John Conrad. This program comes to you from Chicago and is a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting